Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from Group 4. In this video, we will explain about how to synthesize articles. But before we start our presentation, let me introduce our group. There are Nindiara Aftikal Salvarani, Nala Putri Ratu Shifa, Luri Ina Cahyani, and the last is Raditya Paramita Natasha Taslima. And the first material will be explained by Nindiara Aftika Salvarani. The time is yours.
Okay, my name is Nindiara Aftika Salvarani. I will explain about synthesized article. Synthesizing simple means combining instead of summarizing the main points of each source. In turn, we put together the ideas and findings of multiple sources in order to make an overall point. Next. At the most basic level, the involves looking for similarities and differences between your sources. Your synthesize should show the reader where the sources overlap and where they diverge. Next. What does this mean to synthesize article? This means that we examine a number of studies on a shared topic and not aspects that are of interest for your own literature review. It also may mean that we draw and set a conclusion about the similarities and differences in the studies you review. Why is synthesizing important? It is efficient. There is no reason for the reader to read all the articles we describe, since we are synthesizing them. It allows us to highlight what was important to us about those articles. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. The next material about organize your search will be explained by Raditya Paramita Natasha Taslima. The time is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ruri. Step 1, organize your sources. After collecting the relevant literature, you have got a lot of information to work through and a clear idea of how it all fits together. Before you can start writing, you need to organize your notes in a way that allows you to see the relationships between sources. Next. One way to begin synthesizing the literature is to put your notes into a table, depending on your topic and the type of literature you are dealing with. There are a couple of different ways you can organize this. Next. A. Summary table. A summary table collects the key points of each source under consistent headings. This is a good approach if your sources tend to have a similar structure. For instance, if they are all empirical papers. Each row in the table lists one source, and each column identifies a specific part of the source. You can decide which headings to include based on what's most relevant to the literature you are dealing with. For example, you might include columns for things like aims, methods, variables, population, sample size, and conclusions like the table on the screen. Okay, and for the example based on our work, we took aims, methods, and conclusion based on each of the articles. Okay, let's jump into the first article titled The Effective Way to Develop Speaking Skills. The aims of this study to provide an effective way to develop speaking skills by focusing on the language function of asking for information. Then this study used a descriptive approach, and the subject of this research is a natural press. And the conclusion of this article is the results conclude that The content of English textbook that Cambridge University prices into the good category by getting 88% of the average percentage. Okay, and the second article titled Increasing English Speaking Skills Through YouTube. The aim of this study is to find out if the ability to speak English effectively by students was improved by using YouTube. This paper uses qualitative descriptive methods as the method of the research. And the result of using YouTube as a media can be a good alternative media for teaching speaking in the class as the conclusion of this article. The next one is the third article titled The Use of Podcasts in Improving Student Speaking Skill. The aim of this articles is finding out if there is significant improvement on student speaking skills by using this podcast. And these studies employ pre-test and post-test, and these tests are provided in the form of oral tests. The findings showed that there was a significant improvement of the student speaking skill performance and after undertaking treatments as the conclusion of these articles. And the last article titled Improving Student Speaking Skill Through Communication Game, Recorded Role Play, and Peer Feedback. This study aims to improve student speaking skills using the combined strategies of communication game. And this study uses the classroom action research or AR, and the AR in the study adopted by chemist model. Based on the findings, it can be concluded that communication game, recorded role play, and peer feedback activities can improve student speaking skills. This has been shown during learning process as the conclusion of this article.
Okay, thank you Raditya Paramita Taslima for the explanation. And the next step will be explained by Nola Putri Lailatul Shifa. Time is yours.
Thank you, Rory. So for the next, there is step 2. There is outline your structure. You should have a clear overview of the main connection and differences between the sorts you have read. And next, you need to decide how you will group them together and the order in which you will discuss them. For a shorter paper, your outline can just identify the focus of each paragraph, and for the longer paper, you might want to divide it into sections with heading. And there are a few different approaches that you can take to help you structure your synthesis. The first one there is chronologically. This is can be used for if your searches cover a broad time period and you found patterns in how researchers approach the topic over time. And the second one there is thematically. This is used when the literature cover various different topics. And the third one there is theoretically. This is used when your topic involves a debate between different schools of thought. And the last one, there is methodologically. This is used when you're drawing on literature from various different fields. And based on the 4 articles that we have summarized before, it can be concluded that the approach that we use is methodologically because we are drawing on literature from various different fields, like we have mentioned before in the article, such as YouTube, podcast, game, recorder role player, peer feedback, and etc. Step 3. Write paragraph with topic sentence. What sets a synthesis apart from a summary is that it combines various sources. And the easiest way to think about this is that each paragraph should discuss a few different sources, and you should be able to condense the overall point of the paragraph into one sentence. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nola. And the next material will be explained by myself. The topic sentence usually appears at the start of the paragraph. The topic sentence signals what the whole paragraph is about. Every sentence in the paragraph should be clearly related to it. By using topic sentences, you can ensure that your paragraphs are coherent and clearly show the connection between the articles you are discussing. As you write your paragraphs, avoid quoting directly from sources. Use your own words to explain the commonalities and differences that you found in the literature. Don't try to cover every single point from every single source. The key to synthesizing is to extract the most important and relevant information and combine it to give your reader an overall picture of the state of knowledge on your topic. And for the example is wait, I will share it for you guys. Okay. There is an example based on our words. As one of the basic language skills, speaking requires communicative competence along with pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, fluency, accuracy, and comprehension skill. Teaching speaking may become a difficult task for teachers as they face not only students' problems but also other problems. Students may feel unmotivated during the learning process. This also happens to students learning English in non-formal education. For example, they feel too tired after work. Another problem can be from the learning environment. For example, the students in one class might have different level of speaking ability. Therefore, providing them with more exciting and fun way of teaching speaking might bring a good impact for them. The method for improving speaking skill in learning English are based on the four articles that we discussed earlier, earlier, earlier including aduh, sumpah. Kenapa sih? Nanti aku cut aja, maaf. Early, earlier ya? Apa sih earlier kan? Apa sih?
Earlier.
Iya, earlier ya Allah. Maaf ya guys, maaf. As one of the basic language skills, speaking requires communicative competence along with wait. Gimana sih? As one of the basic language skills, speaking requires communicative competence along with pronunciation, grammar, vocabulary, fluency, accuracy, and comprehension skill. Teaching speaking may become a difficult task for teachers as they face not only student problems, but also other problems. Students may feel unmotivated during the learning process. This also happens to students learning English in non-formal education. For example, they feel too tired after work. Another problem can be from the learning environment. For example, the student in one class may have different level of speaking ability. Therefore, providing them with more exciting and fun way of teaching speaking might bring a good impact for them. The method for improving speaking skills and learning English are based on the 4 articles that we discussed earlier, including the first is by evaluating the textbook. The title is Speaking Nature, 1980, 1985 Cambridge University Press was the first to publish it. The study findings show that the substance of English textbook produced by Cambridge University was good, receiving 88% of the average proportion. And the second is making use of YouTube material. The end result of using YouTube as a medium can be a useful alternative media for teaching public speaking in the classroom. Students may communicate more expressively this manner, and they don't have to worry about the sentences they use when speaking. And medium, the data demonstrates significant improve. As a result, podcast media may be utilized as an alternate medium in EFL lessons to teach English, particularly speaking abilities, and the last is using action research in the classroom, or AR. This strategy has practically attained the purpose of assisting pupils in improving their English. They truly appreciate the ambience of learning in class because they don't have to worry about making errors. The conclusion that can be reached and that the 4 strategies provide positive effects since they meet the purpose of helping students develop their speaking abilities. So there is example for step 3. We go back in the slide PowerPoint. Okay. This is the last step 4. Revise, edit, and proofread. Like any other piece of academic writing, synthesizing literature doesn't happen all in one go. It involves drafting, revising, editing, and proofreading your work, whether you're synthesizing literature for an essay, a literature review, or any other paper, you should make sure you have rechecked everything. So, maybe that's all for us to explain about how to synthesize article. Sorry for any mistake for us. Thank you and warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.